Initial reaction. What was your initial reaction when you talked to Jack and JT and the coach about
It's been a process, right? So you spend most of your time recruiting off campus, but spend your time recruiting the guys in your room. We knew there was a possibility those guys could leave, and it was just great conversation. It's a culture, it's a brotherhood. It's all the reason why they came back. But we spent a lot of time talking. We talked to the parents, and for them to make the right decision. It still came down to them making a decision what's best for them, and they all felt the best thing was to come back and try to redo it again. And I think it's awesome. It speaks volume of the kids and the family, but it really talks about what they believe in, the brotherhood, the culture of this program. That's why they came back.
Larry, is it possible that this is the deepest, most talented line you will have at Ohio State? I mean, obviously, you had Joseph, you had Chase. Maybe not be a number 2 draft pick, but in terms of depth and talent, is this as good as it gets?
Yeah, I think the fact that those guys came back make us stronger. There's no question. You got experienced players who played, and they're coming back, and they've been great. Other than Mike Hall, it's been really great. So I think there's a chance for us to be really good, but it's a long ways away to determine that. But I like where we are in the sense that those guys make us better, and also make the young players better.
Larry, what do you want to see from the second group then? If you know that you've got that talent at the top, what do you want to see from guys like Jason and Caden and Will?
They got to be able to come in and play 25, 35 plays a game and do it early in the season. That's the plan, and get those guys ready for the long haul. And so they got to play early, got to play often, and that's the plan. That's why we're getting them ready. They were taking a lot of 1 reps today. They were going against the 1 guys. They got to get better, and I think that's the only way they get better is going against the best. And so we're prepping those guys for that.
When it comes to Will, obviously Caden and Jason got to practice quite a bit last year in the season, but Will seemed to always be on the injury list.
Yeah.
What did he do in the winter and so far this spring that
Well, he's healthy now.
Category?
He's healthy now, and he's practicing really well. And so we're counting on him. We're counting on Jason Moore, who's having really a good spring right now. Really surprising spring. He's doing a great job for us.
Where does Taiwan fit in all of that? How's he coming along?
He's coming on real good. I think that with Taiwan, he was behind football-wise because he's been a baseball player all his life. And then he goes down to his other college, and then he's played baseball again. So he's behind football-wise. When I thought when he got here, he was behind football-wise, just technique-wise, playing the game. So it's taken him a year. Now we see the growth. Now we see the potential what he can bring to the table, and that gives us more depth.
Larry, I don't know that we've talked to you since signing day.
Yeah.
Hedrick, what was that phone call like? What did you kind of feel was riding on it?
It was interesting. It's just one of those things that happen in the middle of the recruitment. You think you're to the end of it, and it's all done, and all of a sudden there's a pause, right? It's a pause, there's a quietness, that goes. Like he just went quiet, couldn't get, when no one could talk to him. And finally, we got to reach him. We got to talk to him. I think he knew where his heart was, and his heart was always here. He's always said that this is what I want to be. I want to be here. And then I think coming to that decision at that late stage scared everybody since. But he called, and we went down and got Coach Day and said, "You got to take this phone call now. We got to go. We got to get this guy." And but his heart. So he walked in the first day in the building. The first thing he says, "I love this place." That tells you his heart's been in the whole time.
Describe what that phone call was like, and how nervous were you?
Oh, it was nerve-wracking because it's a quiet point, right? You're getting ready to go to the sign, and all of a sudden you can't get him. You're not talking to him, like that's not good, right? And then finally we got to the mom, got to everybody we needed to talk to, and he went into the press conference. He was outside the door, still talking, and then finally we got a chance to talk to him before he went on the stage to make his decision. And after that, it was like, we're good.
You've done this a long time. Have you ever had anything like that?
No, that's the first one. That's the first one. That's been good all along to get to the end of it. All of a sudden, there's a pause. But he wanted to make sure he made the right decision. And at the end of the day, he'd tell you, I went with my heart. My heart was to come to Ohio State University, which is really great.
Larry, it looks like I know there's a long way to go till you play a game, but it looks like your first 4, because of the veterans coming back, is pretty set. In your mind, who would be the next person at either tackle or end that you're like?
I think Caden Curry, KJ's done real well. Yeah. Those guys got to play this fall. And then Mitchell Mountain will be the other end position. I think they give us 5, 6 deep end. Counting on one of the young guys to be a 6 for us. It could be Edgewood or Josh Mitchell, maybe Josh Mickens. And then for the inside guys, I feel pretty good. Some guys challenge for position. Jason Moore is starting to make a push. You got a Hero Canoe inside, and then you got K-Mac. Kaden McDonald's doing a really good job on the inside, so give us some depth there. Now, can Will Smith give us a third piece of that puzzle? That's what we're looking for. So I think right now it's really just pushing those young guys more than I'm pushing the older guys. We kind of shut them down a little bit and make these young guys get some work against the 1s and 2s so they get ready to go play.
Larry, going back to the Houston recruitment, when you hear maybe rumblings of people saying you're not going to be here in 2 years or this, that, and the other, how do you reassure recruits that you're going to stay and you're going to be the guy?
all I can do is tell them the truth, right? That's the biggest thing, right? Look at me in the eye and say, this is what I'm going to do. And then that question was asked many times, every year it's asked, right? And I've been really honest and truthful about that. When I make the decision what I want to do, I'll tell them. I'm not going to recruit a guy, bring him here, and then take off. That's just not part of my DNA. That's not my character. And so I try my best to be honest with kids with what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. And that's what I said. He asked me that. He said, Coach, you leave, I'm going. And I reassured myself, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here. You get here. So that's what's important. It's more than just words. It's really believing in a principle of who you are as a coach. I'm not chasing money. I'm not chasing anything. I'm chasing greatness with my players. I hope they have a chance to be really special. And that's what's important to me.
Jack Sawyer at the end of last year, statistically at least, really started to produce. What did you see that maybe was different from him kind of that last half of the season?
I thought that after the sixth game, you saw Jack make her emerge. I thought he started to change and then go back to the things that he does well. Go back to his toolbox, do the things, not guess, and just start playing really good football. And then he started playing very physical football, which I thought he had a long time ago. And that changed. And all of a sudden, he brought the whole defense along with him. And I kind of like where he ended the season on a really high note, really played really well for us. Became a great leader, too.
Does that leadership build this offseason when he kind of rallies the troops to come back, and then coming into spring, we've heard positive things in that department? Has that continued to develop?
No doubt about it. He's still been a leader. Him and JT are real close, really close. But that front four guys have been here, Ty and Tylee, they're really close, and they're pushing the guys, and that's what you want to see. So I would say those four guys are leaders in our room, and they're pushing on really well.
What have you seen out of Jason Moore that makes you say that he's pushing
I mean, he's 6'5", he's 295 pounds. He's the ideal three tactic in our system, right? And just a matter of him having confidence in playing. Sometimes you get it bigger than you think it is, and you kind of shut your back. And now in the spring, we're challenging, and I'm just telling you, he's every day is a good day for Jason Moore, and that's what we want to see. K-Mac, the same thing. There's a lot of guys doing well that they really like what's going on right now. But if a guy that's making a jump right now, I would say Jason Moore.
Urban used to talk about the first 2 years are on us and the third year is on them, like that step the players take. With those ends, though, with Kenyatta and Caden, you've got two third-year guys who, no fault of their own, as you already said, they're kind of flopped. So how do you approach that as a coach with guys who, when they were looking at this, probably thought by third year a big opportunity was going to be here, and now it might not be quite the same shape that they...
Again, I think it's going back to I said early on, right? KJ came back. Those guys could all go in the port if they wanted to because those guys came back, right? But they all want to be part of something special, and I think that's what separates us, who we are. And the fact that KJ and Caden Carey never wonder like what they want to do. They just want to play ball and come back and be the best player possibly and step to their roles. And their role this year is different. It could be a very long season. So we're going to need those guys. And I think they embraced that when they came back. So that's a good thing about it.
Similarly, though, like Plan A might not have also been for both JT and Jack to still be here in 4 years. So you're probably grateful that they are, but at the same time, are you looking at this like what else is left on the table for them? Where can you help them get?
Well, I think the biggest thing they're doing is chasing greatness right now. Being the best player they can be in college football. I think that's what they want. Win a national championship. Beat the team up north. Those are all great goals for those guys to chase. And I think that's one of the reasons they came back. You go a third-year player, go in the NFL. You might think you're ready, but when you got 4 years on your belt, you got your toolbox ready to go. You got a chance to elevate your game when you walk into that next level. And I think that's where those guys looked at. How can I get better, coach? And every day we're working on the small pieces to make them elite players, and I think that's what we're enjoying right now. And you can see the difference in the guys, and that's the positive what's happening right now.
What have you challenged Kenyatta Jackson specifically about this spring, where he really needs to improve, or whatever you want to call it?
Just being consistent. It's all about being consistent. He's tough. He has all the skill sets. He can bend. He can run. He can tackle. He's physical. He has all that. Now, can you be consistent in doing what you're supposed to do? And so far, he's doing a good job at that. And you can see him coming out of his shell a little bit, kind of trying to be a leader, and I like what's going on. And so is Caden Carey. Those guys are right where they need to be, and I'm just happy that we got some more days of practice to get ready. Yep.
What's the next step for JT?
The next step, obviously, is just to play the best game you can play every game. That's the key going into it, right? You're trying to be an elite player. Talent's God-given, but to be elite, you got to choose that. And every day after, we talked about that. You got to choose greatness because there's no falling away from this. So just little things, just fixing all the little things.
Larry, you've been asked about Edric and his recruitment, but now he's on the field. What have you seen from him through a few practices that make you think that not to put the expectations on him, but he almost has to be next up.
I hope so. Yeah, continue to go. It's a growth process. I mean, those young guys come in, it's like he should be in the classroom getting ready to go to the prom now. You know what I mean? He's here. And so he's got to go through a growing stage. You know what I mean? How to play hard. Playing hard in high school, playing hard in college, two different levels. I mean, it's full speed ahead. I mean, so he's going to learn how to do that. He's got the skill set. I mean, he's got the physical skill. Now just learn the game to play at a high level as fast as he can.
Do you make sure to shepherd him to JT and Jack? Like, hey, make sure to pay attention to these guys. They know what they're doing.
We don't have to shove very close. They're already standing next to him, talking to him. That's a good thing about our group. They coach the young guys really well. Really well.
Where with Tyreek and Ty being able to play either spot, who then is your third guy in? Because it could be anybody. Who would that guy be?
Well, you hope that K-Mac can give us something. Coming. I think he's having a good camp. Jason Moore. We got Hero Canoe is doing really well. Then you got Taiwan in there, and then we got a battle between who's going to be that next piece guy. Whereas Will Smith or it could be a freshman, so we don't know yet. But I like where we are right now in the system. We're moving forward. I think it gives him some options.
Where have Hero and Caden taken the biggest steps this
Excuse me?
spring? Where have Hero and Caden taken the biggest steps? This
Oh, they're
spring?
just playing the game, more knowledge of the game, how to play a great football IQ, and just continue to work on our techniques. And that's never going to stop. But I think that's what's happening right now.
Is there something Caden can give you with the one tech sort of being that space heater, maybe an explosive first step, there at that spot?
Yeah, he's a nose guard and he's powerful. We like to see him continue to bring his weight down, but he's a big man. He's very strong and he can handle the center really well. And he gives us the idea of nose guard. That's what we're looking for. An explosive guy, big guy in the middle, just kind of manage things for us.
Now that Taiwan's been here for a year, where's he at?
I think I said earlier on, I think now the growth is there. Baseball is behind him now. He went through a learning curve last year, I thought, just trying to play football again. Now you see him make some steps, and I think going into the fall, he'll be able to help us in the fall.
What's that learning curve like when he's playing baseball and dedicating time?
Well, it's technique, right? You just don't know about football. Eyes, eye discipline, how to get off the ball, how to get off blocks. All those things take time to learn how to do if you haven't done it before, right? You know what I mean? It's like different swinging a bat and hitting the guy in the mouth. You know what I mean? And so that's the difference, and you got to learn how to do that.
With Hero, was there more of a learning curve there? And did you see something change last year that told you he had gone up to grasp this in a little bit?
Yeah, early on it was a struggle for him because it was all new to him. Even though he played football, but he hadn't played football for 2 years, 3 years. It was all baseball. And so just basically learning the game, understanding blocks and scheme, and seeing all. It takes time to do that. Then you saw end of the season started to do a good job of starting to understand it. Now with spring football on his belt and last season, you can see the difference in him right already, that he's starting to learn how to play the game.
Larry Tyreek for a long time. The key word was consistency. He got there last year.
No doubt.
What's the next step for him? What can you see? What can he be this
Continue to do what he's doing. He's working real hard right now. He's working real hard. He's exactly what I thought he was going to be coming back in the season where we're going. There's no more. He's running to the ball full speed every play. He wants to be great. And when you have that in your mind, everything's a challenge.
I would imagine for you, you've coached for a long time, that having a group like this is special for you. How much do you savor this? Do you cherish this? How much do you pressure on yourself to maximize this and make this unit everything it can do?
I tell you what we do. I've challenged myself every year as a coach. How can I be better? How you do better. You go back and watch what you did as a coach. I watch every single play all over again to the off season, and then I find things I think I could do better as a coach. That's my job, right? And then I take those things and we work the crap out. I'm very fortunate to have really some great coaching. Coach Clark is a great young coach. Is going to be next. And then we borrowed BT, and now we have all these eyes in the room of all my guys, and I think that's making us better. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. We meet every day about every single guy, every technique, and finding ways to make them better every day. And so I think that's the key for me going forward, is to make sure we do that.
We don't talk about. Go ahead.
What's it like having your coach on the staff? Or your son on the staff?
Doing this for 29, 28 years, you never had an opportunity to watch him play. He was at Penn State. But it's pretty cool. It really is, to be honest with you. He wants to be in this, wanted to be in a long time ago. I kind of talked him out of it, because of the coaching thing. But then finally he said, Dad, this is what I want to do. And so, thanks to Ryan, we had an opportunity to put him on the staff, and he's doing really well, He loves football, and it's part of his genes. So to be able to chase your dream is really smart.
Larry, we don't
cool about him to see him do it.
We don't talk about Ty as much as we talk about Tyreek and Jack and JT. Do you think there's maybe a reason why he's a little underrated? Or
I don't see him as underrated. Ty is a hammer. Ty is a physical player inside. If you watch his play from last year, there's time where he was we call it bobble down. He's just sticking in the center and just shaking his head. Very strong, very physical. And the thing that we did well last year, we tackled well on the inside, and that was Talik and Ty did a really great job. Mike really did a good job of managing the middle of the defense. And Ty, to me, is a sleeping giant. It really is, because he makes us go. He makes us go. He's smart. He's a leader, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. And I love that about Ty. Yeah.
Larry, we've asked you about we've asked you about a lot of different guys. How do you balance the talent you have at the top end and the depth you have behind them? You're trying to figure out rotation, also knowing that expanded playoff means probably 2 more games.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's what we're talking about. You know, a chance to play 17 games. We've never done that before. And so early on this season, we may play a lot more young players in a situation to make sure we get to the stretch, right? And I think our older players now understand like what we're up against. And the thing I would say to you that we don't have jealousies in the room. We don't have that. We have a bunch of guys that want to win. And if you can help us win, I want you to help us win. That's the attitude in the room. And so they understand that we have to go into the season, we have to rotate, and we have to do it early in the season, get a chance to get to the back end of the season. We're going to do what we want to do.
Not rotating last year, was that more about the top end of the room and how good those guys were, and maybe some of those young guys like Kenyatta and Caden not necessarily being ready for those moments?
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah, quite ready last year to throw those guys in and say, go battle. You know what I mean? You got to be smart. You don't want to put them in a situation where they have a handicap. Handicap being like they fail, they let everybody down. That you could carry that. I'm really good about not putting freshmen in a position where they have a chance to fail. I want them to be successful. Now those guys have some depth. They have the experience. Now let's go play. And that's what we're going to try to do for the season.
What do you think about asking a college roster to
Too many
tolerate?
questions. Who's asking?
What do you think about asking a college roster to tolerate a 17-game schedule?
It's never been done before.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be tough. We'll have to find out. Ask that question at the end of the season. You know what I mean? Right now, we don't know. We just know could be a long season.
What do you think of Jim Knowles' idea to cross-train JT and Jack at outside linebacker?
I think it's great. I mean, we do a little bit of it now in our drop 8 defense. We do a little bit of it now, so it's not a big deal. You're either going to rush or drop, and they do that right now. It's just a matter of changing the front on the inside. I mean, that's all. We haven't gotten there yet, but I know Coach Snow is interested in trying to spearhead that a little bit.
Is that a response to try to find something to match up against an offensive line like what you saw last year against Michigan, where they'll put 6-7 guys?
Yeah, like 12 personnel, 13 personnel, 14 personnel. Now you got a chance to match up, play bigger guys on the field. You know what I mean? You might play three tackles on the field, and then 2 big ends. So just a way to kind of offset that a little bit. Yeah. But we're not there yet. We haven't put it in yet, but it's a thought process.
The experience you have with a lot of these guys, you could start 4 seniors next year. Is there any situation you're coaching for where you've had that much experience on a line?
Only once, when we had the Sam Hubbard, Jalen Holmes, the Bosa, Chase, that group. That group was really a veteran group. We did a lot with those guys. That's where the Rushman package came, because we had to get those guys on the field. But these guys are, I like the guys who are back, but I like the young guys who are starting to go, because they can see what it takes to be great, right? And so there's great examples of those guys. Just imagine those guys to the left. There'll be a lot of young players trying to learn from young players. And so we have a bonus right now. These guys are all back.
I think you have more depth now than you did back then, right?
That's right. You have more depth. Exactly right. Yeah.
One final question. With the Rushman package, I think last year there were times when the JT moved inside, there were times when Jack moved inside. What do you like about those 2 guys inside in the Rushman package situation? How much of that is just we want the experienced guys to be inside?
Yeah, it really is just a matchup. I look for a matchup, right? If there's a guard that we think we got a great matchup for a Rushman, we want to take advantage of that. And so we have to look and see how we go through the season, how much we can use the Rushman package, or we know we have pass rushes, just how we're going to use it, put the pieces together, and we'll figure it out as we go.